And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. What we're going to talk about today is poverty, power, wealth through semen retention. Semen retention is key if you're going to establish power in your life. And power is the solution to all of your problems. So let's talk about first poverty. This is the state where most people are. It's just statistically, that's how it is. And I'd wanted to Google the definition of poverty. Have you done that before? Maybe you should. Poverty is not having enough material possessions or income for a person's needs. Absolute poverty is the complete lack of the means necessary to meet basic personal needs such as food, clothing, and shelter. That was Wikipedia. But the regular define poverty, the state of being extremely poor. Penury, destitution, pennilessness, privation, deprivation, impoverishment, neediness, need, want, hardship, hand-to-mouth existence, beggary, straitened circumstances, bankruptcy, insolvency. Interesting. And the last one, the state of being inferior in quality or insufficient in amount. Scarcity, deficiency, dearth, shortage, insufficiency, inadequacy, absence, lack, want, deficit, meagerness, limitedness, restrictedness, and sparsity. Oh my gosh. Now you've got to ask yourself the question, how much longer do I want to remain in poverty? Because it is robbing you of your life. Your life is ticking away very consistently towards the day when you will die. And it's an exponential growth curve. If you're poor, you're going to struggle more throughout that life. If you have abundance, if you've got wealth, you're still going to have problems, but there will be different kinds of problems. Let me give you an example. Some people say money does not buy happiness. The response to that is happiness does not buy groceries. Simple as that. You want to know that you are provided for, that your family, that your wife, that your kids, that you're provided for the rest of your life. You never want to give that responsibility over to anyone else. If you say, well, that responsibility goes to the government, they should provide for me, you're going to have a problem in terms of achieving true happiness and joy in your life. Because true happiness and joy comes from relationships, and especially your sexual relationship with your wife, and having that good relationship with your kids and raising them up and being an example to them for what true success is. So if you're going to give over your power by blaming the government and saying, hey, provide for me, you're going to have issues. If you're going to blame your job, or that there's no jobs out there, or that the market is down, or that there's a financial collapse, you're giving away your power, which means that you can't solve the problem. You're giving excuses where there should be solutions. Poverty is not acceptable. It is something that you need to get out of as fast as possible. And it is easy to get out of. It just takes time. And it takes discipline. And it takes consistency. And it takes action. Now, it's better to take massive action than to simply take action. Because massive action produces momentum that allows your system, that allows everything around you to work in your favor. Momentum is your best friend. If you only take regular, normal, average action, you're going to get what everyone else has. But if you're taking massive action, which is the minority of people and what they do, guess what? you're going to have what no one else has. You don't want to be average, and it's not acceptable to be average. This is the Men of High Value channel, where we're producing people that have wealth, that have abundance, and we bring them out of poverty from every single category of their lives. Now we're talking every single category. We're talking family, which includes your wife or your future wife, which includes your kids, which includes your friends, your business partners, the people that you associate with. That's your family. And the rest of the whole human family as well. If you have a good relationship with yourself, a good relationship with your inner circle, you're going to have a better relationship with the world at large. You're going to be happy. Happiness comes from relationships. Of course, money can't buy happiness, because why would you want to buy your friends with money? It doesn't make any sense. You want to give to others freely, and then they will give freely back to you. But no one can give freely of themselves if they're not provided for, or if they don't have abundance in their life in general. This is the reason why socialism doesn't work. Because when you get taxed 2/3 of your income by the government, suddenly you have to live on 1/3 of that, and that's barely enough for you. Which means that you don't have capacity to help anyone else, and the majority of people become poor instead of allowing the free market to build everyone up. Does that make sense? We want to bring people out of poverty. Poverty is the worst thing that is basically, it's the worst problem on planet Earth. People think that it's sin. No, poverty is sin. Okay? And I'm a Christian, but this is not a religious channel. We're talking about what the biggest problem on planet Earth is. It's poverty, but poverty is only in people's minds. There's tons of resources out there. It doesn't even need to be created. Even though we can create more resources, the resources are out there. Money is already there. It's just that you haven't tapped into it. Money is just as widespread as the ocean. And you're like, where's water? I mean, obviously it's salt water, right? But do you understand? You're looking for, where's the ocean? The ocean is there. You just are stuck up there at the mountain. You need to go down to the water and use bathtubs to bring that water out. Okay, so anyway, moving on to the next thing. How do we bring you out of poverty? Well, first of all, I've got to be an example to all of you guys, which means that I have to take massive action in my life to be an example to you of what is possible. Over time, I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. Okay, I'm active now in a lot of businesses and a lot of different projects, but I eventually, once things propel, I want to show you guys what is going on. But that is not an excuse for you to not take action in your life immediately. You want to take action now. You want to increase in power. Okay, so let's define power. Power is the ability to do. If you are powerless, that means that you have no ability to do. You have no skills, no talents, you're handicapped, you are retarded, you are basically in a difficult, damned position of not being able to do anything, imprisoned by your own lack. And that lack comes from your choice, because you're not seeking for power. Nothing wrong with seeking for power. Power does not corrupt. It is only you who can corrupt the power that you have by your personal choice. We are inherently good, but if we seek for power in a manner that's not justified, if we don't give, but we receive power, there's something wrong with that. That's why you should not gamble. There's a reason why you shouldn't gamble. It's because you're getting power for basically nothing. You're just giving $20 here or $20 there, hoping to win the lottery of life. Oh my gosh, it's average. Don't ever buy a lottery ticket, ever, again. You want to increase your personal power and to control the lottery. Control your own lottery. Bet on yourself, guys. You are your best investment. Always. And you will always be. And you want to invest in yourself so that you can increase in actions. Increase in massive action. Continuously increase your capacity. Don't stifle it. Don't stop your power. You've got so much more potential, and the potential lies within your capacity to take action. It lies within your personal power. But the reason why most men today do not have power and do not seek for power is because they think it's worthless. They are not motivated because they believe that they can never have power. That is a lie that you've been believing. You have power to take massive action. Anyone who has power to take massive action and to continuously increase their capacity, which anyone can, even the most handicapped and retarded person can increase their capacity, which means that they can increase their power to do. This is awesome. This gives you faith, this gives you hope, and it gives you charity. It gives you the desire to do good. The fact that you actually have capacity. More capacity than what other people are operating at. Power. The ability to do. And it starts with semen retention. The reason why you're a needy little bitch and you're being powerless is because you're addicted. Addictions limit our power. It basically tells us what to do, and we are slaves to it instead of us taking personal control over what we choose to do. We cannot take massive action if we're continuously distracted by the addictions in our lives. We want to go there, but the distractions, it's pulling me back. I want to go and feel fuzzy and nice here. Because that's where we believe we find abundance and wealth. No, it's going to exponentially decrease our abundance and wealth and eventually destroy us. If you look at people who are using drugs, they're miserable. Not only the drug addicts, but the people who use drugs. Even if they only use it a little bit. It's because they believe that it's going to help them to feel happy and to benefit their bodies. It's never going to do that. Anything that is addictive to you will not help you. The only exception to that rule, and that's natural, might be sex. But most people are addicted to that as well. Now, it's a good thing. It's just like food and sex, okay? Because food we need. Air as well is good to be addicted to because we need it. Do you understand? You understand the principle. But the point is that we can use some of these things that we need to have in our lives to use it to propel us towards massive action and motivation. Semen retention allows you to do that. Getting rid of porn and getting rid of masturbation allows you to get normal levels of semen production in your body. There's two types of semen production in your body. The one is a normal sex drive, which continuously provides motivation, hunger for success, a desire to excel, a desire to improve, a desire to impress the ladies, a desire to do and to increase in power and to increase in abundance and wealth. But the people who have a hyperdrive, in sexual desires. Some of them might be lucky for a period of time if they're good looking. This is why some people succeed and we're like, but they're not even doing semen retention. The only reason why they succeed is because they're actually having sex with beautiful women. They actually have confidence. But you got to know that these women will leave those guys eventually because these guys believe they have it all and they don't need to change because they're good looking. They're at a disadvantage long term compared to you if you're worse if you're worse looking than them. Does that make sense? You being worse looking is an advantage. It's fantastic. And you need to use it to your benefit because it helps you to tap into the other sources of potential power that they make fun of. Using semen retention allows you to tap into that power. Normalizing your semen production levels so that you don't end up being a needy little bitch. And then you can now move on to taking massive action because you're not distracted by women and you're not distracted by the booze and you're not distracted by the drugs, by the weekends. Weekends. Being weak in the weekends is gonna make you poor and is gonna keep you poor. Are you being weak in the weekends? You've got to ask yourself that question. Moving on to abundance, because now that we're actually creating power and increasing our power in our lives, wealth is automatically going to happen. Trust me, especially if you're learning from the wealthy, if you're learning from the successful, there is no reason why you shouldn't tap into their wisdom and knowledge and read from the best books of the planet. If you're not tapping into their wisdom and knowledge and understanding of their failures and trial and errors, you're missing out, man. Self-improvement books is the key because you want to improve, you want to grow and become and increase in your personal power. We're coming to now wealth. How do you define wealth? You've heard all kinds of definitions of wealth in all different categories of life, but let me tell you the definition in terms of measuring wealth. It's not how much money you have. It's not whether you're a multimillionaire. What matters in terms of wealth and how you measure wealth is in time. Time is wealth. Why? Because time allows you to improve every single area of your life. Time is of the essence. It's the scarcest resource, and it's the resource that wealthy people pay the most to get back. Okay? They massively invest in whatever can save them and give them and multiply their time. I'm going to share that with you in another video. But you got to understand it. Wealth is measured in time. So if you're slaving away at a job, making $100,000 a month, that's not good for the long run. It's fantastic. 100 grand a year. That's pretty good. But you're missing out, man. Wealth is measured in time, which means passive income is the thing that you should be continuously working towards. Passive income that makes money that is made while you sleep and that is continuously coming in whether you work or not. Not because you don't work, but because you want time. You want systems in place. You want other people in place so that you can focus on those things that matter to you, that matter to your family, that matter to the world. It's not something bad. It's a good thing because you've got more important things to take care of than to do meager service. Service is great, but you're thinking small if you're only servicing 30 people. You've got to create systems that serve the entire human race. Do you understand? How do you measure wealth in time? Well, let's make an example. If you've got $10,000 in savings and your expenses, your monthly expenses is $1,000 per month, your wealth is 10 months. Does that make sense? 10,000 in savings, 1,000 in expenses every month. That wealth will run out in 10 months. But if you've got passive income, how much passive income do you need to have? It needs to be securely in place though, so it's good to have a buffer. But as an example, how much passive income would you need to cover your $1,000 per month expenses, monthly expenses? You would need $1,001 per month in passive income to give you time. That's what you need to understand. And semen retention is the starting point. You're not going to create passive income if you're not having power in your life. This is where abundance comes in. You can create abundance with the limited resources you have right now because you've got the most important resource. And that is your personal motivation to make changes in your life. And you've got the time. Everyone got 24/7. Everyone has 168 hours every single week to propel their lives forward, but they're not going to propel their lives forward unless they actually increase in motivation and hunger for success. And it starts with semen retention. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I will talk to you again tomorrow.